Broadcasting live from sunny South Florida, and the best way to start your Saturday. This is KMA Talk Radio. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of fine cigars. And now your KMA crew. The man with the scoop, William Cooper. Alex the Goat Tavella. And always telling it like it is, Honest Abe Dababneh.
I like to smoke them like the Winston Churchill. Like John Kennedy, yeah. Remember Coach Red Auerbach, smoked up for victory, yeah. Well, you can take my wife, you can take my car, but you can't take my big cigar. My cigar.
Good morning to all our loyal listeners, libertarians, and lovers of the leaf. Honest Abe here, and we are broadcasting episode number 575 of KMA Talk Radio. And as always, I am here with my trusted Saturday morning crew, back from the depths of God knows where, things we call the money pit, our man, the GOAT, Alex Tavella.
Good morning.
Also, special guest host this week, the myth, the train, the Reamer, John Reamer from Johnny Smokes Uncut. Welcome. And
what is
sitting in for our man, William Cooper today, will also be bringing us the news in his place. Our good friend, the man, the Mountie from up north, Johnny McTavish. What's up, the cigar surgeon?
Morning, gentlemen. Who let the Canadian in? Whose bright idea was that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's here.
Unbelievable.
We needed a news guy.
We needed a
news guy.
He might not be tall, but he's got some big shoes, William Cooper.
So, Alex, I see you are now officially broadcasting from the new home base.
Yes, broadcasting from home base. Everything seems to be working well. You know, I did a little checks last night, so I think we're good here.
Are we officially moved in now?
We are officially moved in. Our one last piece of the pie. We are waiting on Vinny the blind man. Once we get blinds and shades.
Are you in a house with no blinds right now?
No, I got like these shitty ones behind me. They're like
that would drive me nuts.
Yeah. No. I could rip this with my hands, but it works for now until at least Vince gets the delivery.
I mean, I like those homes with all the like huge glass walls. Yeah, that would drive me nuts.
I would also never ever be able to broadcast from here. I mean, I got two windows right here. It'd be blazing the wrong way.
So are you gonna eventually backdrop this, or is this gonna be your token new?
I don't know. It depends. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. See, the thing is too, I got the fan in the window, which really helps, but it depends on what the blind looks like. If the blinds look nice behind me, I'll keep the blinds. If not, the backdrop will fit right behind me, so that'll work too. I can go either way. Right. Any progress on you got blueprints yet or what?
Well, what happened is our dear friend, the Secretary of State, recommended me this guy to come in and help kind of design it, whatever. Like, he started off really hot. Hey, send me some pictures, give me some measurements, send me some pictures, give me some measurements, send me some images that you like, what you kind of like, what you're hoping to look like. So I sent him a bunch of images. A week later, nothing. Oh, I'm sorry, I had this big job, but I'll get back to you next week. Doesn't get back to me next week. 6 weeks go by, bro. Evan, that recommendation, a dud, bro. Dud of dud. Didn't even get back to me to say, hey, I'm sorry, can't get to it or nothing. Just dud.
Forget about like design and all. How about we start with some drywall, right? Like, let's start there. You got to build the actual room first.
Yeah, I know, but believe me, I've built a few things. Getting it conceptually done.
Yep.
The demo is a day. There's not much in here. It's a dining room. I mean, the demo is a day. So there's not really a start demo. And as long as you have guys start dirtying, messing up your home, you might as well get them ready to start building. Yep. So, but you know who I ended up hiring? The woman we hired when we were in 2020 or like around COVID time when we were looking to build the KMA studios in the second floor of Pompano.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so she should have something for me early next week. And
I'm so glad we didn't do that.
Oh, God, yeah.
Imagine having to drive to Pompano every Saturday morning. We would have got all sick of that real quick.
And it was before COVID. So, like, we didn't even, we weren't StreamYarding. We weren't doing shit virtually. We were just so used to being in the studio. Oh, what a waste of money that would have been.
But you're right, Abe, that you really need to get a concept of the layout before you start building anything, because so often it looks good on paper, it seems good on paper, and then you start laying it out and you're like, wait a minute, this is in completely the wrong place. This is not going to work.
I've built enough places now that I know the two words everybody fears during construction. Not the contractor, but the customer. Change order. Oh my gosh. Man.
Change order means is dollar amount change.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Change order. Oh gosh.
Cha-ching.
No change about it.
I'm the type of psychopath. I don't care how deep we got into something. If I realize I really don't like it, or it's not going to work for me, and I know that I got to look at that for the next 10, 15, 20 years, rip it down. Gotta go. Rip it down. We're building it over.
Yeah, I lucked out with my GC because it's in my home, so I really can't have mistakes with this, and I've got a wife who can smell cigar smoke from 2 blocks away. So, when I was like, look, this has to be perfect, otherwise I'm going to spend a bunch of money and I'm going to have a room that I can't use. So
I'm going to touch base with you right when we, before we start, construction. Doggies. Chicken Tim
What's
Chi.
going on?
I doggies. Tim Chi. I was just.
Oh,
Shut the motherfucking dogs up.
I said put them in the kennels. Tim Chi, man, I was just thinking about you the other day. He is been in the shadows.
Tim is the only guy who listens to KMA Talk Radio live on a Sunday.
Right.
Tim is in China.
very
Reem,
nice.
are you alive over there?
I'm alive. I'm just listening to taking everything in at first. You know what I mean? It'll pick up
John,
as we go.
John forgot he was on the show. He thought it was like watching it like on a Saturday morning.
Abe,
Yes.
let me tell you. Well, just this banner reminded me. Did you get a chance to smoke the special one he did for TGS?
Oddly enough. No.
It is
You know
good.
what? Take it back.
It is good.
Take it back. Take it back. That's the box press Lancero, right?
Yes, the little box.
I
press
did,
box, more like
but
a
not
Weinstead.
after it came out.
Gotcha. It is good, man.
I tried
like
it before when he was thinking about making it. He bought me some. I
is
smoked
good.
it. I'm like, this is really good. But after we bought them out and whatever, I got sidetracked with the great
It's a little underfilled, but it is good. Man.
I remember
It's
it being
good.
a little soft.
A little soft, but it
It's
is.
box press for you.
Yeah, but no, I did a good job with that.
Why do you say that?
The underfilled.
No, why do you? Are you insinuating like box presses are typically underfilled?
I mean, you kind of have to just by the
start that
nature
way.
of box pressing.
I mean, they start that way. They start underfilled. That's how
They start
box them.
underfilled.
Yeah, I know, but
But this was underfilled for a box. This one. Was
Yeah.
underfilled for a box.
If you
I was
look at
underfilled
like
for a box.
Padron and Red Meat Lovers Club, man, those things are like bricks.
No, but I get it. But what he's saying is
Yeah.
they start underfilled, so then you have the room to box them.
That's right.
That's how you box this.
Got it.
But
Exactly
once
right. 'Cause-
once
'cause-
finished product, yeah, they kind of.
Yeah. If a lot of people don't understand, if you just straight box press a normal roll, I mean,
You
the
crack
thing
it.
wouldn't be smokable. I mean, it's like a McDonald's milkshake. You're not getting anything out of there.
Right.
Gary
you need a
Brooks
little-
is buying plants today.
I did that. No, I didn't do that. I just paid Mr. Benito to do
Is
that.
it plant season?
I don't know. It's
getting
Florida.
there.
It's always plant
Getting
season.
there?
It's always plant season.
I know we haven't seen the sun in 6 months, so plant season just arrived. It went from snow to 80 degrees in like 2 days. So my sinuses are all stuffed up. Everything's growing all at once. It's wild.
John, what part of Canada are you in?
I'm in Calgary, Alberta, so essentially straight north of was that North Dakota? No, Montana. Yeah,
That's
But-
up there.
it's strange, man, because sometimes we get these really long springs, and then every once in a while we get these season changes where it's literally snowing, and then the next weekend it goes from -2 or -1 freedom to 80 degrees. And it's just like, hey, can we ease into this or no? No, we cannot.
No easy.
Is all the years I've known John, I don't think I've ever asked, right? So being up in Canada, did you move to Canada or were you born Canadian?
I was born Canadian. I wasn't even born here in Alberta either. I actually came from the east, way from the east, from Toronto, and then moved to Alberta when I was just a wee bairn. So I've lived all over Alberta and kind of settled with my family in Calgary many moons ago.
So, question, like really being in Canada, because you don't really see that many, or maybe they are, and I just don't know it now that I'm thinking about it, but you don't see that many like media people outside the U.S. covering New World Cigars, right?
No.
Because I mean, as you're getting into cigars, it's not your cup of tea. You probably don't even realize there's New World Cigars. How did you end up, getting into the New World Cigars so much to the point where you're actually media for New World Cigars?
Well, I'm not to bore our audience because it's a long story, but the short version of the story is I think that New World and Cubans are treated the same here. Like I think there's this misconception that a lot of Canadians who are cigar smokers only smoke Cubans, but I think Canadians more than Europeans always smoke New World and Cubans interchangeably. And so, there was no secret
differentiation.
Yeah, I mean, no one is elevating Cuban cigars to any degree. It's just another type of cigar, and versus Europe, where I think there was that split between Cubans and non-Cubans. So for us, grabbing a non-Cuban was that's what I was in the mood for that day. So whether it's Rocky Patel Edge or a Monte Cristo from Habanos, doesn't it's whatever I'm in the mood for, and I just kind of I just started smoking cigars, and I probably had 50% non-Cuban and 50% Cuban at one point, but now it's like probably 80% non-Cuban and 20% Cuban, I would say, especially with the prices. I'm not buying Cubans.
Is that a big part of it? Just how ridiculously priced they are? I mean,
yeah, and I just
for sure.
I just find as I got more into the reviews, and we were talking about this in the green room, I smoke so much for review. When I smoke for me, I'm kind of smoking for what I want. And so I've got my tried and trusted 8 brands, and a lot of them are non-Cuban. And so like this morning, I looked at my stash. I'm like, what do I feel like smoking? I'm like, I saw the HVC. Yeah. Perfect breakfast cigar.
Nice.
Now, but aren't the New World cigars kind of outrageously priced by the time they get taxed in imported?
Bro, I'm a former.
What are the New World cigars in pricing compared to the Cubans? And coming in a store in Canada, not like buying them.
Yeah. It's a good thing you don't have any hair, Abe, because it would fall out when you hear this. So first of all, you can't keystone anything on the shelf here because the taxes are so high. So there's no keystone. First of all, back when Cubans weren't crazy priced, Cubans would typically retail for $30 to $40 a stick for PSD4, like a normal everyday $8 to $10 stick. It's $30 to $40 on the shelf, depending on what tax environment you're in. Non-Cubans, New World, a typical New World it's kind of dependent on how you play the game, because there's some, there's some tax games you can play to bring that price down. And you kind of have to be sensitive to that, because once you get into that $30 price point on the shelf, I mean, look, selling a $30 cigar that's, $8.50 or $9.50 retail in a non-tax market in the States, I mean, a lot of guys aren't going to pay that. So I would say you kind of targeting 22 to 25 on the shelf is kind of where you want to be. That's the ideal range.
You walk into a store and buy a decent cigar for like $15?
Not really.
Wow.
So like on average, like a $10 cigar that I would spend here would be 20 to 25 there?
25 to 30.
Oof, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's normal, right? Like that's how the tax market has always been. And that's kind of how it'll always be. I mean, those taxes aren't getting rolled back. So, and like I said, I came from that because I was the general manager for a chain of 20 stores.
So you guys must cry.
No, wait. There's a chain of 20 stores in Canada?
Yeah. I started when we were only 7 stores and grew it to 20.
How do they survive? Is there a bar? Are they making money on ancillary? I mean, I can't imagine there's a large amount of population spending time in a cigar lounge and they can't even smoke a decent cigar for less than $30.
Oh, Abe, if we could have a lounge up here, we would be making hand over fist from August to August.
So they're not
May.
lounges; they're selling cigars and other ancillary stuff, which are probably making their living on.
Yes, 100%.
Okay. That
a lot of
makes
vape stuff, right? That's where your profit margin is going to be, is vape
Got it.
stuff. You know, sadly, it's come
one's
into the store.
No one's dedicated to selling just cigars in Canada because you can't make a living.
Not really. I mean, yes, but even with that, you're probably at best 80%, 20% at best, right? 80% cigars and 20% non-cigars, because it's just not possible. You wouldn't have the cash flow. It's tough, man. It's a hard market. I mean, and look, any cigar shop in Canada that's been open for more than 3 or 4 years, they get it. They know how to do retail properly. And to be honest, I've said this many times, if you took a Canadian retailer who's been in business for 5+ years, dropped them anywhere in the United States, with the operating environment there, allowing them to have a lounge, they would make money like it'd be raining money, because they would have everything locked down tight. Because if you don't, you go out of business.
Minus all the regulation and taxes that they normally have to deal with, right? With all that.
Yeah, guys can come in, buy a cigar, sit down and smoke. What's going on? Somebody calling the police? No,
a whole new world, literally.
Yeah.
So do you cringe every time you see another $100 cigar get dropped, knowing that it's probably a $300 cigar by the time you get to Canada?
The funny thing about that is I like the market of it. Like, I always go, look, if you want to sell a cigar for $100, great. I mean, you don't have to buy it, right? Like, I'm Scottish. I'm not buying a $100 cigar. It's just not happening. I'm not the target market. I'm not the guy that's spending $100. So if a guy's going to come in, or girl, is going to come in and drop $100 on a cigar, power to him.
Right, but for you, it's a $250 cigar, basically.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's,
100%. I mean, that's. I don't think you just wouldn't bring the product in. Well, so in Canada, you have to go through the distributor, right? So the distributor, there's no way they're bringing in a cigar at that price.
And they do the whole labeling thing, right?
That's right.
Plain
packaging, baby. Because that's how people buy their cigars, is they look at the pretty packaging, and that's how they.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, do a lot of manufacturers? I've heard this. I don't know. Do they keep the label on underneath?
Yeah, because it's easier, right? Like, if you I don't know how you guys have probably had to put bands on cigars before.
Sure.
And look, I don't have big fat hands like Abe. I mean, Abe's got monster hands. Look, these fingers. I've seen these girls do it in the factory, and I try to do it, and they're just laughing at me, and it's like, what are you doing? I can't put bands on. It's ridiculous. It's much easier to put them on top.
So they put their normal bands on and then slap that big, stupid label over top.
The big, stupid label on top. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Absolutely. Johnny, it's 100%. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah,
we got a
couple of people up there, and they said the same thing. It's like, because we'll ask them, like I said, it's almost like what Abe was asking you. It's like, I don't know. I've never been to Canada. You know what I mean? So
Really?
No, never been to Canada. I've been a lot of other places, just never to Canada. Never had
there's some nice places.
Never wanted to go. But
I've been to
since
Toronto.
Lena has family up there, so it's Lebanon and Canada are going to be my near future.
There you go.
So, I asked our friend Adeem. He's like, is it the way it is? With the covered up, and he goes, yeah, okay. And sometimes he'll even post it like that.
Yep.
He won't even take it off.
I've been to Toronto, but I mean that doesn't even count as Canada for me. That's just Toronto's just clean America. It's just clean America.
Yeah. It's a clean, more polite New York. Slightly more polite.
Yeah,
not entirely more
clean
polite.
America.
That's funny.
Although I did, and I would love to do again when I stayed in Canada. I got to stay at the I don't even know if they still have it, at the Blue Jay Stadium when they had the hotel rooms in the upper deck
in the stadium.
Outfield. Yeah, which
100%.
is cool to be able to watch a game from there.
Hell yeah.
Well, before I forget, I just want to send our thoughts and prayers to our dear friend Sarge, who had surgery yesterday. Came out of surgery, and good to see you up and alive and watching KMA Talk Radio with us this morning. And speaking of smoking, guys, Alex already popping the cherry in the new home, smoking in the house. Love it.
Yes.
What are we smoking today, gentlemen?
So I started with my usual little Bellis Artis, AJ Fernandez. Everyday go-to.
It's like sweet and sour chicken.
Yeah, it is. It's a little
Yeah.
never gonna wow you, but I'll never do you wrong.
Right?
What do you? Johnny's got
Oh,
DM.
Johnny, Big Buck Johnny.
Yeah,
Bob,
speaking of $100 cigars,
Yeah, speaking of
Mr. Fat Wallet over there.
Yeah,
I'm working through the PCA. Trying to get the new stuff while I can. So I'm smoking the HVC La Rosa, 10th anniversary. It is. It's a nice way to start the day, man. It's a good cigar.
You know what I need?
This brand's been holding its own. You know, we've had to reorder a few times. We've been going out of stock. Very, very nice to see people reacting and enjoying this new brand to smoke in and the industry pretty much.
Yeah, I think Rainier really came into his own when he opened up his own factory. I mean, I think he was releasing good stuff, but he opened his own factory, and I think he just blew the roof off as soon as he did that. So good for him.
Well, you got to make the cigars.
I mean, that's accurate.
You know that, Alex. I challenge you.
All right.
I challenge you for a special episode of Name That Jam.
Okay.
You need to get audio from different people in the industry and see if we can guess who it is.
Oh,
wow, that'd be cool.
Like just
like
play
voice
audio of Rainier, Terrence Riley, Steve Saka, Rocky Patel. I mean, some of them are going to be obvious.
Yeah, how the hell? Who ain't going to know who Rainier is? But I can.
Or Rocky.
That might be an interesting episode.
Okay, you want to hear something weird? So obviously we did the name that tune, name that jam, and I'm so terrible at music, but weirdly, I have a freaky brain for voices. Like it's like audio DNA. Like as soon as I hear someone's voice, it's locked in my brain, and I just to the point where we're watching a show with my wife, and it's like somebody done up in a costume, whatever. I'm like, that's that guy from that show. And she's like, no, it's not. I'm like, it's that guy from that show. And she's like, how do you know that? Like, I don't know. I just do.
I suck when I watch animation.
I have an idea. But I'm going to need your help. I need you to do some homework.
Yeah.
I need you to find me an interview or a podcast with Rainier. I need somewhere where I can get long clips of his voice.
Piece of cake.
And I get
Cigar Coop. Cigar-coop.com. No problem.
Absolutely. I'll take Rainier's voice. I'll run it through 11 labs, and I can have Rainier read the lyrics for Name That Jam.
Oh, that'd be great. That would be great.
I can have Rainier's voice AI read the lyrics.
Love it.
Oh
it's going to have to be the easiest lyrics possible because it's going to be hard to understand anyway.
Yeah, it's going to be unintelligible.
Tom's
the only guy in the industry who's got a deeper voice than Abe.
Right?
No, that's not even deep. Tom's asking if this is an Izod shirt. Tom, right there, buddy.
It's a polo shirt.
Polo.
Right there, pal. It's actually my jammy. My jammies.
Or Olope, depending on how you read it.
Yeah, Olope. Abe's in his jams.
Got up late, and then my there's something wrong with this laptop. It just started the first week that you weren't on, and it really screwed me up. The time clock, like every time I open it up, it's 1959, some weird date and time.
Really?
Which then StreamYard doesn't work. You know, because StreamYard won't let you log in unless your date and time is correct. It took me a while to figure this out. It's still doing it. I got to look at it this weekend, really.
CMOS battery.
What is it?
She's dying. So there's a little button cell battery typically on a motherboard that maintains that information. I think they still got them on laptops, but if the battery's dying, that's gonna mess a whole pile of stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
Your laptop's kind of old, right?
No, this is not that. Well, I mean, no, not that.
It's
old.
not that old. The problem with laptops is not that old. Isn't what it used to be.
What are we talking? 3 years? 5 years?
No, Macs have a good lifespan. You know.
Yeah, but what are we talking for age here?
Well,
we talking 10 years old?
I bought this when Brian was still working for us.
Oh, so you're
in the office.
Abe, it's at least 4 years old.
That's not a lot for a Mac.
Shouldn't be dying
at
4 years old.
Listen, yours gets around a lot. It's in a bag. It's out of bag.
It does go a lot. It does travel a lot. It's been around the world.
It's been around the world. You know, it's made its way around.
And this one's 5 years. This Mac I got.
Yeah, still rolling. That's why you sound
still rolling. Still rolling.
Kidding.
So
where are you, Reamer?
Don McKnight is coming to this shop.
Where am I?
September. Yeah. That's right.
Nice.
Yeah, where are you, Reamer?
I'm at the Tarsi compound. because I said
Oh,
I
nice.
can't get in the tent. The tent is not doable today because it's very loud out there. And I think we have a rail trail, and I think they're doing some kind of 5K run or some shit like that, and it gets loud as hell.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
you get the motorcycles. It's like, oh my God. The last time I was on with you guys, the same thing. I had mic problems, motorcycle problems,
Nah, it's all right. Could be worse. Could be worse.
Do I reset it to RGB or CMYK?
Kent's a tech nerd too.
I know, but
We don't understand that lingo.
We
don't know what that means.
I feel like we're like the fifth, because everybody in the industry is up until now is the musicians or the lawyers, and I feel like techs are starting to become the sort of
Techs are. You're right. Techs
yeah.
are starting to become.
Oh,
all the
God.
nerds are starting to take
That's why
over.
I'm glad you guys are there so you can help us out. Us
That's right.
non-tech guys.
The musician thing is really interesting.
It's weird, man. I don't
It's
get it.
weird. It really is, man. The amount of manufacturers that are musicians is really. It's just an interesting correlation.
You get those weirdos who are musicians and lawyers, and it's like, okay, you know what? Stop. Stop.
You're
Double
doing the
whammy.
most.
That's Rocky.
That's Rocky.
Yeah.
He's dude. The guy's so talented. It's
So
wild.
I think it was Jonathan's Drew wedding in Nicaragua. I'm gonna see if I could remember everybody who went up on stage, but they took over the musical equipment from the band who was playing music. We had Rocky Patel, Nick Perdomo.
What does Rocky play?
Drums.
Drums. They're all drummers. Why are they all
They're all
drummers?
drummers,
too?
yeah.
Why are they? What is it?
Yeah, Herklotz is a drummer.
Herklotz, EP Carrillo's a drummer, isn't he?
Marvin Samuel played the trumpet.
There you go.
It was like Ernesto Carrillo, drummer too.
Yeah, he's a drummer
Yep.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something about
who
drummers.
else
But
is
anyway,
on stage?
finish the
It
story.
was like five or six of them from the industry who did like a couple tunes on stage. It was pretty wild.
Oh, that's cool. Just jammed together. That's
Yeah. Man, that's going way back.
The good old days.
That was a brutal wedding. It was two weddings at the same time. Not the same time, two weddings back to back.
Really?
Yeah, there was like a Hebrew ceremony and then the Christian Catholic ceremony right after.
Oh, that's that is a long day. That is a
Bro,
lot of wedding.
After a long flight. I mean,
Oh
it was
my
like,
God.
holy cow.
Jesus.
Catholic ceremony. That's an endurance test right there.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Skin
Abe Floor.
flute?
Abe who?
Skin flute? Hey, he lost a lot of weight, man. He's probably, discovered a whole new world there.
Yeah, good for him.
I
It
don't
seems.
know.
Oh,
Is
that's
it,
right.
is it just me, Abe, or like it seems like maybe the last 12, 18 months that's kind of caught on. There's just a pile of people who have maybe they're just getting they're sensing their mortality, and a bunch of people have gone
I
through.
think
these
that's
massive
what it is.
losses.
People are getting older, starting to realize I ain't gonna last that long. if I keep up this.
Ozempic. I'm
Yeah.
sure that's what the fuck it is.
But
Everybody's
still,
drugging
listen.
everybody's drugging the fuck up.
At least they're doing
Let's be-
something.
Listen,
keeps them around.
I'll never forget. I'm gonna out somebody right now. Fuck it. So, because he deserves to be outed in my book. Yeah. So
You had to justify it in his head.
it's a justifiable outing. Fuck yeah, it is.
All right,
And
well, come on.
you could tell me if I'm out of line. So, Brad Weinstead, for those of you who know him, right?
Kaza.
Yeah. Casa, yeah. Now he's JR. But all to this, right?
Yeah.
So he was a pretty hefty guy back in the day, And I'm going back maybe 5 years, right around there. All of a sudden, guys coming to visit me, see me. Every time I see him, guys getting thinner and thinner and thinner. And like one time, I was like, "Holy shit, bro! What are you doing?" Just cutting back, hitting the gym, all this shit, right? And like 4 years later, I find out he's fucking was taking Ozempic. I'm like, motherfucker, why didn't you say anything? You're sitting across from a fat fuck. Like, share the secret.
Right. I'm not asking for conversation. I'm looking for
Figure
tips.
shit out. Share the goddamn secret. Why would you let someone else be in misery, bro?
That's funny.
And I didn't discover
It wasn't as
I didn't discover it until literally I was like borderline diabetic. I mean, I actually got, medically put on it,
Right.
But like, then I found out, I've never, listen, I wasn't paying attention to nothing. Cause when you were growing up, I don't think anybody's old enough to remember this. Maybe Reamer. Do you remember Calban 3000? There was so many gimmicks growing up. There was this great commercial. Me and my brother always still say it today. Calban 3000. It feels and makes you look good. And it was like some stuff you were supposed to eat, swap the pills you took before you eat, and then it would just shit everything out supposedly.
Oh yeah.
Calban 3000. They had these country guys doing the commercials. It was hilarious. But I mean, he didn't say nothing. I could have had a jump like 3 or 4 years on it.
Yeah.
I wasn't as out there as back then as it is now.
I did it the hard way. I just
don't know why they don't want to admit it. He's right. People don't want to admit it. I don't know why. They don't.
Yeah, whatever it takes, man.
Well,
whatever it takes.
Because it sounds a lot sexier when you say, "Yeah, I was in the gym. I'm freaking on the trail. I'm freaking doing this." Unless when you come up and say, "Hey,
you could tell who's hitting a gym and who's not hitting a gym."
I think there's a stereotype of people feel like, oh, you cheated. Like, great, you cheated, but you know what? You're alive, so God bless you.
What do you think gastric bypass is? The sleeve is,
or anything else? Right?
Yeah,
right.
It's any means necessary. That's how you look at it. Any means necessary.
Whatever keeps you upright.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They think it's cheating.
But don't take Ozempic, take Manjaro. It works 10 times better, and I own stock.
This episode is brought to you by.
I ain't gonna lie, man. That was one of the best calls I made in the market ever. And you know who motivated me to buy Eli Lilly? Steve Saka.
Oh, there you go.
You know why? Because it was right around. It was like that November they had spent like $3 million building out a. They're building out 2 new plants because they couldn't keep up, and there was like a real shortage. You couldn't get the Manjaro anywhere. And then they just got FDA approved for Zepbound, which is like the same thing, but without the needed stuff that you need for the diabetes part of the medication. So it was like strictly designed to be, this is going to be a weight loss drug. And I remember Steve Saka telling me he was getting on it and he was driving hours to find the pharmacy to have his shit. I'm saying, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, wow.
If Steve Saka is getting on this,
yep,
and he's driving hours, I said, I'm buying some stock in this company. I bought some stock and it's done very well. So.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
Reamer, I think it's story time. Ask Reamer about his stomach and the ramp. I'm going to need some context.
Andy, I hate you. There was a Harley Davidson. We were selling cigars at Selena and myself at this Harley Davidson bike weekend. So we were there Saturday and Sunday. And they had this crew there jumping, doing tricks and all kind of stuff like that. And then all of a sudden they come up to me and said, "Hey, somebody said that you wanted to lay on the ground and we're going to jump you with a ramp, the long way, not the short way, the long way." So I was just like, what the hell are you talking about? And then here Candy and a couple other people went and told this guy. So next thing I know, I'm laying on the ground. The first thing I told the guy is like, "Dude, that's a small ramp." It's like, that's a very small ramp. That's a very small ramp. Are you going to clear this? And he goes, Yeah. We should be able to clear that. I'm like, well, that's good. So I posted the pictures. That guy come down. I think he missed my cigar because I'm laying down a cigar in my mouth. I think he missed it by like that much.
Right.
So not one of my smarter days.
Did he get your stomach or no?
No, he didn't get the stomach, but that was the joke.
Right,
though, if you see the picture, it's like I said, it's me just laying there, and Glenn took a few shots, and the one, it's like,
Send me the picture. Send it to me.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that is uncomfortably close. Uncomfortably close.
And the one, I just sent it to you. The other shot was even closer.
Sorry, you did this twice. After the first time,
right? Yeah. I there wasn't a catastrophe the first time. Let me do it again.
Yeah. I didn't feel the tire on my nose on the way by.
No, I didn't. Yeah, you didn't crush. And then everyone was asking, "Did you have your eyes open?" I'm like, "Yeah, if it's gonna run over my fucking head, I want to see it coming at least." You know what I mean? So,
Oof.
it's yeah. It was like I said, not one of my brighter moments. And yes, I was sober. I was not drunk. I was not drinking.
Sounds like you should have.
Oh, it was like I said, not
The fuck is my phone?
brighter.
Did you not learn that lesson when you were 10 and people were jumping over your face with the BMX bikes? That's when I learned this is maybe not it's not a good idea.
No, but that's why I said you're gonna clear this, and the guy's like, "Yeah, I think we'll be all right." So you'll see by especially when the picture comes in, it's like, oh god.
We got everybody having surgery. We got Moxie's out on surgery. Sarge is just texting me. Yeah, she had some surgery done, but she's gonna be out for like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Oof.
Let's see. Here we go.
Oh yeah, that's it. Might be perspective, but that looks uncomfortably close.
Oh my god, look at that ramp. I'd have been like, no way, bro. No chance am I doing this.
Wait,
Yeah,
you did this why?
Because his friends told the guy that he would do it.
Was this a TikTok challenge?
No, it's just a moment of stupidity. I think.
I mean, look, nothing for nothing here. I'm just don't take that picture off here. But nothing for nothing, just being the semi-forward thinking person that I am. I would just assume logically, I would have lied with my head at the ramp and not my head the other way, because if there's a fuck up here, it's going to be being short on the landing, and I wouldn't want that fucking tire in my face.
Well, Abe, maybe that's the would you rather? Would you rather the tire crushes your head or crushes your nuts?
I mean, seriously. No. I mean, look, if he's going to fall short, I mean, just think about this. He's
falling short after the fact, yeah.
Yeah, he's falling short after the fact. And most likely he's going to land in between your legs, and your legs will just probably split open and you'll be fine.
Hopefully.
But did they make you lay that way, or was this your bright idea? Is he freezing up, or?
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Did they make you lay like that, or is this just what you thought was a good idea?
Because when he hits the ramp could move, so that's why you don't want your head down there.
Wow.
Oh God.
So when he hits the ramp could move, which would then move your head further down.
Wow.
Which would
This is a good plan.
So
this is a good life lesson for those out there watching.
Asher, come here. I got a life lesson for you here. Come here.
Don't even put it in his head, because next thing you know, he's
It's definitely the next TikTok challenge.
You don't want to put that in his head.
No.
Oh God.
Is it just a joke? Here. Yeah.
It's a joke, but it's not.
Yeah, it's a joke. No, what it is it's a joke, but I don't want to give you any ideas. Move along.
Right.
That's what that is.
Yes.
Exactly.
So he cleared the cigar, or he didn't clear the cigar?
He cleared it. Reamer's behind.
Oh yeah.
But he's got a delay.
Yeah, the second one comes close. Well, that jump there, as he comes down, the next frame, it's like right near the cigar. Right near the cigar.
Yeah. And you did it twice.
I was just thinking to myself. I was just thinking to myself after seeing that stunning display of sheer intelligence.
It's freezing.
Have I ever done anything and like got out of it and say, "Oh my God, what the fuck was I thinking? Thank God I got away unscathed." I don't know if I've ever put myself in that position.
Really? Even when you were younger?
No, I was a pretty smart kid.
Wow.
I'm trying to really think.
You learned your lessons the smart way, not the hard way.
If anything, no, but even I was gonna say, I probably had some couple close calls in a car, but that's not like, hey, I had time to think about this. This is what I'm gonna do. I mean, Alex and I had a near-death moment in a car. You know,
we did.
yes.
Yeah, but driving's different. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't like I had time to think about this. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try this. You know, I mean, I probably would have went bungee jumping or skydiving, which would have been one of those things. But I was too big at an early age. I outweighed the limits by the time I got old enough to say, "Oh, this is something I'd want to try." So, yeah, I don't think I've ever done it. If anybody's ever done something extremely dangerous or stupid that they would not try again and got away unscathed, put it in the comments. I'm curious, but I can't really think of a moment where I've done something like that.
I mean, listen, my face in my head
I mean,
is
Alex, I figure you might have had a couple.
well, I mean, I could, but I'd probably have to get the statute of limitations on a few things.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about them. So I don't know.
copy that.
Yeah,
Copy that. Look, if I shave this all off, my head looks like Frankenstein. The number of stitches and whatever that I've had over there.
Oh, really?
Oh, I mean, yeah.
No, go ahead, John. Go ahead.
No. I was all good.
So something stupid we used to do as kids. So in the city, growing up in Philly, especially in the wintertime, there's a big spot like under 95 where they would pile up all the rock salt for like snow and stuff. And I mean, it would literally be a mountain. It would be, and by the it sits there, it's literally a mountain. And me and my friends would go up and climb it and dive down into, because it would kind of break apart. It was almost like a slide. We would dive down, go diving down the mountain because it was all soft salt as it would come off. Yep. But yeah, one of my friends didn't jump far enough and kind of scraped his whole side against the hard part of the damn salt. So not the best place that you want to get a scrape, cut, or a bruise is jumping into piles of salt.
Yeah.
So luckily, I never got hurt, but that's definitely we probably shouldn't have been doing that.
Interesting.
I mean,
trespass.
If I thought about it, I could come up with probably a list of 15 things. The least of which is jumping off roofs into snow piles in the wintertime.
I mean, if you're a Floridian, basically every Floridian can just claim I drove I-95 today.
Especially if you're down in Miami. I drove through Miami today.
Yeah, bro, Miami. Crazy.
I mean,
stay out of the left lane.
It's literally, whoever has the strongest will has the right of way in Miami, and that's it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do this. No, not that. Where does it go? Now they're coming in.
Oh,
where's the shark one? I wouldn't do the shark one. Yeah.
Diving with sharks,
Yeah, I have
even with the cage.
Fuck the cage. I saw a shark bust through a cage, man.
Yeah, you saw that one with the shark.
Yeah, man, cage? Fuck that. No way.
No way.
I mean, that's equivalent to like taking a submarine that runs on a Nintendo joystick. There's no reason to do that. No reason to.
Well, look, it wasn't the joystick that was the problem. It was the failure to understand basic physics of how atmospheric pressure works. I mean, yeah,
that was just a debacle. And the more I watched documentaries on that, and the more you're like, are these people insane? Forget about the guy who's pushing, right? Because he believes in it.
Yeah,
but like these billionaires and millionaires that are nobody else was like, I don't know about take your and it's sad and it's terrible, but this one guy took his son.
I know. Yep.
Like I would never. I'm doing something completely may not make it. Yeah. And I'm gonna bring my son to do it with me. Like we know all the risks involved. We're signing paperwork saying if you die, we're not liable.
Wow, this guy's a real psychopath right here.
I thought that was just a Friday afternoon.
Here it is. I do the shark thing.
You
in
a cage or out of a cage?
No, so I don't not swimming with him, but I used to catch him. I pulled up a pick. I used to pull him out of the water.
Oh wow, what is that? It's not a nurse shark. What is that?
That's a lemon shark. I was like 7 footer, 6 or 7, 6.5. 7.
Still, that would take a reasonably sized chunk out of you.
Oh yeah. Well, the scary part is when you got to put it back in the water because you have to kind of let it get the water.
Oh, that shark's dead. That shark's dead. I catch it. That shark's dead.
No, but listen, that shark is almost dead by the time you reel it out. I mean, those fights are 45 minutes, 50 minutes. You're not doing it by yourself. You're passing the rod off. And so by the time it's exhausted, by the time it gets there, but that's why you got to do that. You got to get it going again. Even if you just put it back, it'll just roll over and die. You literally got to stay, and then it'll just go, which is the scariest. I don't know, only slightly scarier than when you have to take the kayak out 150 feet to drop the bloody piece of bait into the water and come back. That's how we used to shark fish.
You know, they did a movie about that, and I feel like that was supposed to be a warning sign for generations about sharks and water and whatnot.
That came out. When did that come out? When did Jaws come out?
Picture again.
70.
Yeah, it was before
79, something like that.
You did all that for a joke?
It was
for a short joke?
I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, Jaws came out before I was born, so I didn't see it by the time I was.
Oh, there you go.
No, I did.
There you go. Stay out of the water.
That's a good time, though. The shark fishing you just got to have the one guy who's crazy enough to kayak out there, because other than that, you just set it in a PVC pipe, light up your cigars, and wait for that thing to rip.
Did you see the old couple who just got flipped by a gator?
No.
On a canoe.
They're
on a canoe and gator flipped them. Wife dead.
Hard pass.
Wife dead?
Oh my
Wife
God.
dead.
Oh wow.
Husband tried to save her.
What are you going to do? Poke it in the eyes?
I'd be like, I'll take care of the kids, honey. Promise.
Right. Sorry.
That's like that woman in they're in the tiger park, and she got out of the car to argue with her husband. I'm like, what are you? You're in a tiger park. What are you doing?
This is not the move.
Let me tell you something. Flipped the canoe and she landed on the back of the gator.
Oh
dear God.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be a sizable boat for me to be getting on a boat in gator water. Like that's.
Bro, it's all gator water here in Florida. I don't even go to our little reservoirs in the community. We've had gators in those.
I'm probably drowning in that scenario, because if I land on the back of the gator, there's no chance I'm letting that gator go. For either I'm drowning or we're heading to shore.
Get your hooks in.
He's barrel rolling you until you drown.
Yeah. Get your hooks in, cross his ankles. Don't let him.
I'll take the barrel roll over, getting a chunk of my head chopped.
Right?
Yeah.
No, man.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, on the land you might have a shot, but in the water
I'm toast.
Now that we're talking about, that's a couple good would you rather questions there. We should give it to Pedro. That's the would you rather die like this or die like that? This pretty good would you rather's in there.
Let me ask you guys this, and I don't know if you've gone over it while I wasn't on the show. You may have, but there was a whole internet sensation about the 100 men versus one gorilla.
Right.
Have you seen this?
It's still going.
Yeah. Have you seen this, Abe?
Yes.
Yep.
I'm interested in your thoughts.
Oh, they say the 100 men will win.
I say no chance.
They say the 100 men win.
No chance. I say no chance. No chance whatsoever. What about you guys?
They say, well, we're going with they said the 100 men.
Scientifically, they said the 100 men should win because the stamina of a gorilla isn't that long.
100%.
And that 100 men would eventually outpower. I mean, they ain't saying that somebody's going to die.
Oh,
but by the time he gets to 20 or 30, he's finished.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
Remember, it's not one-on-one.
No, I understand that. But even so according to the science, from what I've read, that the strength differential is about the strength of a human versus a beagle dog, right? That's about the strength differential.
Yeah,
so
like 10 times. Yeah.
So he literally rips apart 20 people. I mean, these people are ripped apart. With
single swipes,
they're shredded.
Crush your chest in. Yeah.
Then he gets tired and backs up into a corner. Now I got 20 guys missing limbs, the face bit off. Who's going next? Who's the next guy? Who's making the next charge?
Well, hold on.
That's my problem.
Was the rules, it's one at a time, or is 100 can attack at once?
No, 100 at once.
Listen, if 20, first of all, 100 can't attack at once, right? They can't. The most
physically you can't.
Them first 5, 6, 8 guys are shredded cheese.
Yeah, they're finished.
Shredded mozzarella. Forget about it.
Okay, so you're adding the psychological factor. then we're dead.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, come on, look,
Done.
yeah,
After
psychologically,
that,
yeah.
Who's next? Who's going?
Yeah.
Who's going to get him behind them? Who's going? We're done. And
Sounds like an episode of what's what was that Korean show with the
like Squid Game. Yeah.
Squid Game. This is an episode of Squid
Squid
Game. Is
Game,
what
yeah.
this is.
Yeah, you take away our only advantage over animals, which is essentially our ability to make tools, right? So,
Well, but you could also, you could drag them behind you, right? You run a little bit, you tire them out from chasing the one guy, right? That's another way you could go. But
Look at John being all.
got to be strategic about this. Get the skinny guys to run while the other guys come up behind them.
They're pretty fast.
They're pretty.
Yeah,
fast.
look, they're really fast, short distances, but they're not. Look, they're not going to chase you for 100 feet.
Right. That's
But
going to
here's the
happen.
thing. Here's the thing.
70 to 100 already left.
If we took 5 guys and put the gorilla to sleep, it would take them a long time to even be able to kill it. I mean, they got thick skin, they got thick bones. I mean, they're not right. They're not built like, they're not just strong humans. I mean, with our bare hands, it is.
Think about, it's like not the average office worker, right? Like the joke was, you take 2 Samoans, right? 2 guys from Philly and a guy from Chicago, and it's like, okay, you know what? Yeah, they probably do some damage.
Maybe. Again, 2 guys from Chicago and 3 guys from Philly. Never seen a gorilla swipe your head off with one swipe. So what I said is to give the 100 guys the real chance.
You got to drug them up?
No. It would have to be 100 guys that are on death row and saying you are getting executed today.
Right.
And your only chance you'll get a pardon and freed if you guys can kill this gorilla. Otherwise, you're dying today.
So truly a Squid Game situation.
I'm going to tell you something. If you had 100 of those guys, I put my money on the human.
Right, now we're talking because they're all going.
Right.
I'm dying.
Now they're motivated. They're dying either way.
I'm
they're
dying
motivated.
either way today. Right.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right, Alex. Psychologically, I don't even think it would take 10 guys. I think as soon as you saw 3-4 guys literally have their arms ripped out of the socket,
and this thing backs into
that's
a corner,
it.
and then it's like, okay, everybody's looking at each other. Who's going next?
Who goes first?
I'll tell you
but I mean,
cool-
physically, 100 guys could take a gorilla. You'd probably have 15, 20
biologically,
guys.
it should be done. It'd be able to be done. But psychologically, it's not
100%.
happening.
I mean, have you never seen that video of there's this tribe? I don't remember where it is in Africa, but there's this tribe, and they literally steal food from Pride of Lions, and it's like 6 guys with spears, and they just shake the spears, and the lions are like, "What the heck's going on?" And the lions freak out and run away, and they grab the food, and the guy's like, "Does this work?" He goes, "Well, it works for about 10 minutes until they realize we don't really have a lot going on, and so if they came back, they'd rip us to shreds. But we scared them. We grabbed the food, and we hightail it out of there."
So here's a quick question before the break, because I heard this one. This was actually kind of a good one, especially if anybody's a golfer out there, right? If you could start from the furthest spot on the green against everybody else who had to start from the tees. Okay, so basically, you're going to be putting only for 18 holes. You start on the green from the furthest spot from the hole.
Yeah.
Could you win the Masters?
No, not even close.
Not
Not even
remotely.
close. But I'm not a golf guy whatsoever.
But I wonder. This is a question if you're really a golfer. If you're a scratch or a good. But do you think putting from starting, just playing with putting? That's all you got to do. You don't have to
From the
drive,
furthest spot on the green, though.
the first spot on the green. Now sometimes it's short, sometimes they're pretty long.
Yeah, it could be
But-
30 yards, 40 yards.
But you only have to putt. You don't have to sand wedge. You don't have to do anything. You just got to putt. You don't have to drive. No going in the water, no going in the sand. All you got to do is putt. Can you win the Masters? Think about that while we go to break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere and keep it lit.
Phenomenal. 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 Phenomenal.
Honest Abe here with the GOAT to tell you about Smokin's Cigar of the Month Club. Alex, tell our fans out there why our club is the best darn club out there.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you why. Because every month I personally handpick 5 premium cigars. No filler, no fluff, no fugazis. These are all premium, handmade, name brands that you can find in any brick and mortar store in your area. All delivered to your door for $34.95. And our average monthly retail value since the inception of our club has been almost $57. Another great feature of our Cigar of the Month Club, Alex, tell them about the ease of our Cigar of the Month Club. I'll tell you, I hate subscription services. It's always a pain to cancel them, turning them on. We've made it super simple. All you gotta do is log into your account. There's a little green button there. If it's green, you're active. You want to take a break, you're going out of town, simply hit the button and you'll deactivate your membership. Want to turn it back on? The exact same easy process. You can turn it right back on. We've made it that easy for you. Another great feature is our Double Down Club. Alex, tell them about the Double Down Club. We had so many of our members reach out to us who really enjoyed our selections every month. They wanted to know there was a way they can get 2. And we've made that very simple. With a simple check mark, you can get double this great selections every month and save $10. Does our club have perks? Of course it have perks. You want to tell them about the perks? As a member of our club, every month there's a special discount code where if you like any of the selections, we will offer them to you, so you want to come and get some more. You can get them at a special discounted rate for our Cigar of the Month Club members. And finally, expedited shipping. Tell them how fast we get the stuff out, Alex. We get the stuff out on the 28th of every month. Our membership bills on the 28th, and we get every member's package out on the 28th if it's a shipping day. 5 great reasons on what makes Smokin' Cigar of the Month Club the best club out there. Check it out. Peace. Hey, I really appreciate you doing the video with me. Thanks.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. I mean, you didn't let me get a word in, but whatever.
What?
Yeah, well, great. It's perfect.
Welcome back to Hour 2 of KMA Talk Radio. Sitting here with the crew, our dear friend, the Canuck, the Canadian, the cigar surgeon, John McTavish, sitting in for William Cooper, and of course, got my man, the GOAT, Alex Tavella, and we lost Reamer during the break. You found what?
Wi-Fi died or something, but I'm sure he'll be back.
What'd you find?
Found one of Kevin's.
Oh, the Lancero. Is that what you were looking for?
Yep,
There you go.
All right, so I did. Where is Reamer?
We lost him during the break.
Lost him.
So I did a little research. Right? So I looked at the course. So my advantage gets wiped out is the problem. So I would think that my advantage is on the par 5s, right?
Right.
So there's 4 par 5s in the Master. Problem is there's also 4 par 3s, which I'm probably losing those par 3s, right? Those guys, and you got to remember, it ain't like these guys finish at par. They finish,
right?
Scotty Scheffler was 11 under by the time all 4 rounds were done. So it means I got to win the battle on 10 par 4s. I don't know. I don't think so. Because here's the
40,
problem.
50-yard putt in one.
Yeah.
Right. Here's the problem. A 6-foot putt for me, it's probably 2 putts. A 6-foot putt's a layup for one of these guys.
And this is not like a miniature golf course.
Right.
These greens are rough.
Monster greens. Yeah, and they've got slopes and they've got angles, and yeah. Even if you can pick the ideal spot, you're going downhill or whatever, it's a straight run, it's still going to be. Welcome back.
I mean, I was thinking the par 5s would have been my advantage, but there's just as many par 3s, which kills out the putting advantage.
That's interesting. Can you ask AI what it thinks?
I certainly can.
I mean, look, it'd be a fun. Maybe that's they do kind of like they do the skills competition for basketball. Do a skills competition for golf. That would actually be kind of fun to take the Masters guys and do the putts against the full course and see who comes out on top.
All right, let's see. Abe, let's ask. Let me see.
That just shows you how hard the sport of golf really is. Right?
Let's get it on. Let's get it here. Let's see.
Oh, very nice.
Let's see.
Cue it up. Let's get that right prompt. Everyone's seeing behind the scenes now.
Right.
See, people don't understand the correct way to do the learning the language models is you gotta setting it up is the most important part of the process. This is going to be the master class in how to use AI to your advantage. Look at that.
Hey, just say average. Just say average. I'm curious if an average player could do it.
So for those listening to the podcast and not tuning in live,
Yeah. Give us the play-by-play.
Alex is currently typing into ChatGPT. He's setting up the prompts. He said we're giving you a hypothetical scenario, and we're setting up the golfer scenario as an average, below average golfer who knows how to play, not great, and then he's going to give him the conditions of what the contest is. Now Alex is going to put in the competition of starting what is the furthest part of the green. Is
Yes.
that right? Is that what we agreed? There's a much better scenario for the people who are tuned in rather than the people who are listening, I would say.
I'm interested because I never really messed with this, and just to see how he's raising it all.
Yeah, it's definitely the setup. I mean, Alex obviously knows it backwards and forwards, but the key is anytime you're using ChatGPT, if you want good output, you really got to spend. It's like that old game of asking a genie for a wish, right? You got to really consider all the ramifications, all the ways in which this genie can work you over. You got to cover all those loopholes before you make your wish. And ChatGPT is the exact same way. So you kind of come up with 7 or 8 conditions to make sure that genie isn't pulling a fast one on you before you ask for your $1 million, so the $1 million doesn't fall from the sky and crush you.
All right, let's see what we got.
Great scenario.
Below average golfer, start on the green, furthest point of the green, so 60 to 100 feet. Yeah, so that's a monster putt.
Wow.
Skipping tees. Effectively, you're skipping tee shots, approach shots, and most hazards. Playing only the putting of each hole. Usually 2 to 3 strokes for a below average golfer from that distance. Trying to beat players who might birdie or par almost every.
Oh, it's giving context. I love it.
Par 72, average winning scores -12 to -15. Of course, is brutally difficult. Estimating your score. Let's assume you're 2 putting on average. That's a very solid below average putting performance on Augusta's greens. Occasionally 3 putting due to speed, slope, and pin placements. Over 18 holes, here's a realistic range. Best case, 2 putt every green, 36 holes. 36 strokes. Right. More realistic, mix of 2 and 3 putts, 40 to 45 strokes. Bad round, lots of 350-plus strokes. Comparing the pros. Pros will shoot somewhere between 68 to 75 on average per round at Augusta. Even an elite round from a pro rarely dips below 65, and only with great ball striking, putting in a little luck. So, can you win the Masters this way? If you putt perfectly, 36 strokes, and the pros have a standard day, 70, you're beating them by 34 strokes. That's not just winning, that's obliterating the field. But here's the catch. Augusta greens are not friendly to average or below average. You have a double break, full front, Okay.
You lost your audio a little bit. You're not talking into the mic.
Me? You hear me?
Hey,
There you go.
Better? Sorry.
Yeah.
Most it's off center because actually I can now that I don't need my keyboard. Let me get back centered. Most average golfers 4 putt some of these greens just trying to practice. Final assessment. Skill level, elite putter, which is unlikely. You destroy the pros. As a solid putter, 2.3 per hole, you'd still win. Struggling putter, tight race, but possible for probably most of us. 3 putting most holes, unlikely to win. Pros beat you by 10 plus strokes.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think that's the most realistic scenario because, I mean, look, 3 putting a 100-foot green, I mean, that's tough.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you
That
got
was kind of cool. That was kind of cool to watch.
And you got a little right. You got a little. Especially for those of you that were watching, a little inside baseball on how to prompt ChatGPT.
That was kind of cool to watch.
Because listen, if I went in there and just said, "Hey, what are the average?" Blah, blah, I would have just
Right.
got a straight, quick little thing instead of all that detailed information.
Very, very cool. Wow.
So yeah, if you play, you probably have a shot. If you're a player, if you're not a player, you just
forget it.
I don't want to make this a Chat GPT show, but now I'm curious what it say about. Did anybody ever in social media Google it with the gorilla?
I'm sure they have, but I haven't seen it. I can.
Well,
I thought there was a biologist that weighed in on one of the social media channels, and he was the one that said, yeah, the first 20 or 25 guys are getting mutilated, maimed, and killed, but that's it. Like past that point, the gorilla is just going to succumb to lactic acid overload, and the gorilla's just gonna run
that's
out
if
of
the other 70 are still around.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the assumption is that they're not, somehow they're not running in terror, seeing the piles of bodies and limbs all over the place.
Tape on the bridge of my no tape on the bridge. Oh, was that a nerd joke? Yeah,
Yes, that was a nerd joke.
Yeah, I mean, you listen. If we can give those guys some like not Nazi meth or whatever those guys were taking, they have a shot. But otherwise, after watching 20 guys get decimated, I just don't.
The
think
pilot stimulants.
Leading the charge, right.
The Air Force stims or whatever they give them.
All right. Well, it's that time. It's that time to test the musical acumen of our crew and all our fans out there. It's time to find out if you could name that jam. All right, Mosabi.
So for this week, I will be reading some song lyrics as mundanely as possible.
Love it.
And you guys will have to give me the artist and song. I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 here.
Oh, my God.
Here we go.
Okay.
With the lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now. Entertain us.
Oh, that's Nirvana, and it's
Nirvana.
Smells like Teen Spirit.
All right,
Yep,
group effort. Everybody's in. All right, to the next one. It's something unpredictable, but in the end, it's right. I hope you had
Green Day.
Hope
the time of your life.
Correct. Song is actually called Good Riddance. Time of your life.
It is called Good Riddance, yes.
Cooper would be cleaning up right now.
All right, here we go. This one should be easy. I don't ever want to feel like I did that day. Take me to the place I love.
Bridge Under the Water.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Red Hot Chili Peppers. Thank you. Under the Bridge.
Under the Bridge. There we go.
Great album.
Yes, great album. All right, last one. This one kind of sucks, but it's what they gave me. Nobody's going to get it. If they do, I'm surprised. If I could melt your heart, we'd never be apart.
That's
it. God.
That's it.
Oh, we get.
Apparently, that should be enough.
Bruno Mars?
No idea.
Not quite, but it is pop. That is
Not
Madonna.
Bruno Mars?
The song is Frozen.
Oh,
The song
Madonna.
is Frozen.
Oh yeah, I don't have a daughter. I don't know. I haven't heard the Frozen lyrics 1,000 times.
Me neither. I don't have any daughters. I got 2 sons. We never did Frozen.
Yeah.
All right,
that's good.
What I got this weekend.
That was a good list.
All right.
I'm gonna work on Rainier. I'm gonna work on that. I think I still have my 11 Labs account. What do you got there, Abe? Yeah.
I'm trying to get the banner thing off. I'm hitting the wrong buttons.
I got you.
Media assets. That's what.
There you go.
Oh, gosh.
So, anyway, all right, take us out.
Oh yeah, and this segment was brought to you by the fine folks over at Avo Cigars. Thank you very much. I got caught up. My StreamYard is acting weird. It's not like My buttons are in different. I don't know what's going on. Well, I had trouble getting on this morning.
They've changed layouts and did some updates a little bit.
Yep.
There it is. Now I got it back to normal.
You
I got to a screen where I had no buttons.
Now sometimes it pushes to the side. Yeah.
The whole right side disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I wonder if these software engineers actually use their own product because,
Right?
like we use Zoom for our video stuff or our reviews. We use it every 2 weeks minimum. And every 2 weeks, it's like, you've moved the buttons around. Like, why would you move the controls around? Like, that's crazy. But they do it.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times I think too, because like I used to suffer from like the same thing. Even with Abe, with like running reports and stuff, like I'll create a whole report that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
But then you hand it to somebody else and they're like, what am I looking at here? So I've had to learn to like, all right, I know it makes sense to me. Let me look at it and make sure it'll take. Can somebody look at this and grab it and know what it is? And I feel like sometimes other people are like, oh, it works. Yeah, this is what do you mean? The buttons are here now. It makes so much more sense.
We had that problem all day long with Raj. Because Raj would do something that made sense for an Indian guy, but not anybody shopping anywhere else in the world. Like, what is that?
Yeah, but Raj would do things like, you create a report and the start time is in like US time.
Oh,
like the date and then the end date format is in like European time. So one's 4/12, 2025. The other one's 12/4, 2025.
Yeah, classic. Look, I'm a business analyst. I'm in oil and gas, so I constantly have to switch between freedom units and science units all the time. So, imperial metric, like all the time on the fly. And so my brain is just used to that. But I think for most people, it's very, very difficult to switch from, your home units of dates and measures to some other standard. It's very challenging for most people.
Not only that, I feel like we're the only place in the world that uses inches and feet. Like the only place.
You and the United Kingdom.
Why? Why can't we all just be on the same?
Wait, United Kingdom uses inches and feet?
Yeah.
I didn't know
They're a little
that.
bit like Canada. They use a weird mix of measures for imperial measures for Opala stuff, and then metric measures for a bunch of others. But like I said, the only reason we do it in Canada is because we have such a shared, trade of everything that we have to. I mean, we just whatever the units are the customers are using, that's the units we're using. So,
does anybody know why that happened? I'm curious. Now I'm going to Google that after the show.
Oh, fortunately, I have ChatGPT still up.
Well, I mean, Canada wasn't imperial until the. See, now I'm going to date myself, but Canada was imperial until I want to say the mid to late 70s. And then the curriculum switched over from imperial to metric. So there's a whole generation that's only grown up in Canada with metric. But my generation and the millennials grew up in a mixed thing of, the joke is I can tell you what my height is in feet and inches, but I couldn't tell you what my height is in meters. I can tell you how fast I'm going in kilometers. I can approximate in miles per hour. Weights and measures are an imperial. Baking is an imperial. But temperatures are in Celsius. So
why?
I don't
know. You're right. Alcohol and water. We use liters here.
Oh, really? I thought you guys used the ounces and.
We do. Milk is in ounces and gallons, but alcohol and water is in liters.
Weird.
The water comes in gallons too.
But no, I guess I was going to say, don't use. It's the UK that sells the 700 ml bottles. You guys do the 750.
750s.
Right.
All right. So I guess apparently we use it because Britain used it. We got it from the UK. Abe. Just at the time as colonists, what was used. That was what was used. And
all right.
But interesting, imperial. In Britain. Roads, speed limits, beer and milk, height is all in, miles and miles per hour. But then metric, food packaging, medicine, and scientific measurements are in the metric system. So it's like a hybrid.
Just to answer Marshall's question, it's not called freedom units in the other parts of the world. I just call it freedom units because I think it's funny and I like to poke fun.
Freedom fries.
Alex gets it.
Yeah, I get it. I'm with you.
Are they?
What?
Oh, that's weird. You came out. are different than U.S. miles.
They've got a couple measures like that where the like there's metric tons and then imperial tons, and then there's what's the other one? The UK has where it's specifically the same word for the measure, but it's a different unit. I can't think of it.
No, 1959. 1959, an international agreement standardized the mile.
Oh, there you go.
Defining as
I saw that episode.
1.609 or 1,609 kilometers.
Where it gets really fun is if you're
1.6
trying to do construction, and you literally have a set of tools. So like your socket set in metric, and then you have a socket set in imperial.
Yeah.
So it's always the joke of the joke here is the 10 millimeter socket is the most used socket, and it's the one socket you'll never be able to find because it's always missing.
That's funny.
So no, it's funny because I deal with it. So in this house, I have one of those big shower things. It comes out all directions, the big giant but it also gives you the temperature and the time you've been in the shower. It's got a little screen.
Right.
Problem for me is it's in Celsius. I mean, I don't even know.
Oh, really?
Like I said, it was in the house, so I don't even know what it can, or how to do it, or maybe I can Bluetooth my phone. I can't even see the model brand. I'm sure there's a way for me to set it. So I'm like, I don't know Celsius to Fahrenheit, but about 31, 32 degrees Celsius is a good spot for a shower. That's how much I've learned.
That's
so far.
funny.
I think
what does that come to?
Well, there's I can't remember the shortcut. I think it's like divide by 7 and add 5 or something like that. I can't remember the shortcut off the top of my head.
Right? I thought so.
Yeah.
I gotta check it out.
I mean, it's not exact, but it gets you within
there,
a couple
at least
degrees.
Ballpark, yeah.
Well, wait. How about this? You guys want to laugh? And here's the funny one. So I have and I didn't realize this. I have my thermostat set up to my Apple Home, right? I don't know if you guys use Apple Home. But there's a weird issue. So what Apple Home does is when I want to turn the thermostat down right from my phone. So say the thermostat's on 74 and I want to turn it down to 73. Yeah, you just move the thing 73. But what Apple does for some reason, it takes the temperature you put, it converts it to Celsius, and then converts it back to Fahrenheit. So, but what happens is when I move it to 73, when it converts it and it comes back, it turns into like 72 and change, which then it rounds down to 72. I literally can't manually set it to 73 on the thing. I have to tell Siri, set the thermostat to 72.5, and it'll jump it to 73 because of the conversion back and forth. But that's how it does it.
Very weird.
It's literally impossible to set my thermostat to 73 on my phone without using Siri.
Well, it's that time. John, you got some big shoes to fill. Are you ready to handle this segment?
Despite the short quiet news week, I have 2 pages of notes ready, so I'm ready to go.
Oh, Johnny's ready to chat. All right. Well, it's that time. It's that time to find out what is the scoop with McTavish.
Yeah, I like it.
Hey, yo, what's my theme music?
The Scoop with Coop. Breaking industry news. Hear it first on KMA Talk Radio and cigar-coop.com.
Sitting in for our dear friend William Cooper, who is in the depths of Dubai at the moment, is our dear friend John McTavish. The floor is yours, my friend.
Thanks very much, and thanks, Cooper, for keying this up for me. So obviously we're in the sort of post-PCA hangover period. There's not a ton of news this week, but I'll start from the top with some unfortunate news. Condolences to Mark Ryan, who has passed away. For those who aren't aware, Mike Ryan was the founder of Daughters and Ryan Incorporated. He passed away May 5th in Clayton, North Carolina. He was 69 years old. He's got a lot of history in the industry. Purchased LA Roche Perique Tobacco in 2005. And, I think the thing that he's most well known for in the industry is he's been hosting the Drew Estate Louisiana Barn Smoker events for many, many years. And then, of course, he collaborated with Drew Estate on the Pappy Van Winkle barrel fermented cigar using the LA Roche or LA Poche, barrel fermentation process for their KFC tobacco, the Kentucky Fried Cured Leaf. And of course, he won many awards throughout the years, including a Golden Leaf Award. So, condolences to his family. I think the ceremonies are actually being held today on May the 10th. So, some unfortunate news there. 69 years old, man, very young.
Very young.
May he rest in peace.
May it rest in peace. Moving on. So Davidoff has some news. They're shutting down two flagship locations, one in River Oaks, Houston, and one in Brookfield Place, New York. Now, they're not shutting down immediately. Both stores will be open till September 2025, but they've sort of pre-announced that those stores will be closing. Davidoff said in the PR statement that they've strategically decided not to renew certain leases after conducting a thorough review. I'm sure it's got to be traffic and volume. So they're going to shift their strategy to growth and optimize global retail presence by emphasizing key flagship locations. What does that all mean? Well, they're going to put a bunch of resources into the Madison Avenue location, which makes sense in Midtown Manhattan. So it's currently under renos. They're expecting that location to reopen kind of mid-summer 2025. And then I think the key is that the Brookfield Place is in the financial district. And so, you look at Coop was saying in the financial district, I mean, it's great traffic during the day, but evenings and weekends, I mean, there's no traffic. So it makes complete sense that you'd shift that resource to the Madison Avenue location, which gets a lot more traffic throughout the week. So
they also have some stores that are licensees or, not, they aren't corporate.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Do you know how many they have, John?
I don't have that handy, and Coop would know that off the top of his head.
Right, I know.
Yeah,
no,
I'm no Cooper,
but I lost track. I know the ones in Vegas, they own one or a couple, and then there's a couple licensees. Hard to keep track. It's kind of a weird setup.
Yeah, and I mean, look, it's as as a retailer, it's all going to come down to traffic and revenue. And at the end of the day, if you don't have the traffic, and that think about New York, you got a high tax environment, you got crazy lease rates. I can't even imagine.
That's what I was saying. I don't even know what the rent on that Madison would be.
$50,000 a month? Like, I don't even know. $100,000 a month?
Gotta be. I mean, it's insane.
I feel
Crazy
like Davidoff is it's like a pro sports team in a rebuilding phase right now.
Right.
To me, like there's so much changes going on in things, and they really got to I don't know.
The post Austin era.
Yeah.
Look, I think they identified that they needed to make some changes, right the ship a little bit. I've got some great new leadership. I know Coop is enamored with the new CEO. He's met him, had a long conversation with him. Said he's a really smart guy, knows what he's doing, and obviously they come back to the PCA strong and had a good show. Great coffee at the Zeno booth, by the way. Great. I thought it was the best coffee at the PCA, and I think they're making some positive moves. So, righting the ship. There you go. 65 flagship stores. That's a lot.
Sure.
Do they really have 65?
That's got to be around the world, right? So makes sense.
That's got to be around the world. Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
not in Canada though.
Across 130 countries, because I know the appointed merchant number for the U.S. is only like in the 200s to maybe mid to high 200s.
Yeah.
I gotta give Lowell Ream credit. I feel like he's done a good job with at least getting Zeno out there. Who I mean, I really, he was a good fit for that.
He's on the road. We talked with him.
He's doing his thing, man.
He's on the road like literally almost 26 to 28 days a month.
Yep.
He's out.
Oh, look, there's
literally on the road. He's like trailing a hitch around too. It's not like he ain't flying back and forth. He's on the road.
There's no shortcut. There's no shortcuts to success in the cigar industry, and unfortunately, that's what it takes to build and expand that brand. Is you're gonna have to be a road warrior, and that's just the reality.
That's the thing. That's what it takes to build anything. If you really want to build something, that's what it's going to take. You got to put that effort. You got to put that time in. And for some of us, we don't have the time, and for the guys that do, that get out there and do it, hopefully, they see the success. Fortunately for him, he's able to make that happen.
I didn't get to really hang out or see his thing at the Great Smoke. I mean, I walked out, I said hello.
But I'll tell you what, every time I stepped outside, he was there. He
No,
he wasn't like, oh, where's law? You know, that's it. No,
even like in the middle, he was there, and
Right,
there were
that's what-
people,
in
and
the
there were
middle.
people there.
hanging out, going outside just to take a break. No, absolutely. He it wasn't like who was it? CRA, who we couldn't even find the one year.
Bro. So I remember it was the last time we invited them.
Yeah, it was.
I remember walking through the middle of the event. It's like, you know, we're at least 2 hours into this, 2.5. And I walked by, and the tablecloth for this booth is still on the wooden table.
Oh.
So no one came to the table and, you know, laid down the linen, set up their booth. And I look up, and it was the CRA. And I was like, wow. I said, well, he must have not shown up. Something must have happened. I hope he's okay. I take the linen. I give it to Marissa. I'm like, hey, this guy didn't show up. She's like, oh, no, he's here. So, what do you mean?
He's having a good time.
Yeah, walking around, having a good time. He was there. Well,
Anyway, what else you got, John?
Well, last but not least, and we're not going to get too deep into this because this is a 25, 30-year saga, but the federal court has upheld the cancellation of General Cigars Cohiba trademark. This is ruling
you're gonna need to give some background on this.
Oh, yeah.
This has gone back and forth since I've gotten in the industry, and there's a lot of listeners who don't even know the context of this story.
Yeah. So I'll give the ruling,
so yeah,
and then we'll talk about the background. And obviously, neither I nor Coop are lawyers, so we'll give you the facts, and then we can have the debate. But the federal court has ruled against General Cigar in a petition to reverse Cohiba trademark registration in the U.S. Trademark Trial and Appeals Board. This is a follow-up to the 2023 lawsuit STG filed challenging the original ruling, which was December of 2022, which was the ruling in 2022 was to cancel General Cohiba's trademark. And so STG obviously appealed that in 2023. And this is the appeal ruling that they have upheld the cancellation of that trademark. For people who aren't aware, Cuba Tobacco, of course, the Cuban-owned Cohiba brand, claims the trademark. And this goes back originally to 1997, where Cuba Tobacco filed a lawsuit over the trademark and ownership of the Cohiba brand in the United States. And then in 2005, the Second Circuit Court of Appeals in New York had ruled unanimously in favor of General Cigar at that time. So it has gone back and forth. It will continue to go back and forth. I'll just read a quick statement here from Regis. I cannot say Regis's last name, so I'm just going to go with Regis's first name so I don't butcher the poor man's name. But he is the Chief Commercial Officer of Scandinavian Tobacco Group, STG, who is the owner of General Cigar Company. And he was quoted as saying, "We are, of course, disappointed by this decision, but we and our advisors will now study the ruling closely and, of course, consider the opportunity to appeal to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit. Our federal trademark registrations, which are the subject of the dispute, would remain valid and enforceable during the pending appeal. We expect the long dispute to continue before the courts." So before we get any further, I'll just reiterate, because I think this was lost on a lot of people, that this does not change the ability or the likelihood that Cohiba from STG will be sold in the industry. It will continue to be sold. It is available for sale. That is
You're
not going to
talking
change.
about Cohiba Red Dot.
Correct.
Yeah.
So could at the end of this, could it affect it?
Potentially that could happen. I mean, it is unlikely when you look at a lawsuit in two companies of this size. The worst case scenario, you'd say the trademark gets canceled. It would still have to be enforceable within the United States. And I'm not a lawyer, but I know the enforceability of that becomes very, very difficult. So Cuba Tobacco would have to find some way to enforce their trademark and remove Cohiba from the U.S. market. I'm not even sure that that's possible. That is well beyond my pay grade. But given the fact that this has gone back and forth since 1997, I would not expect within the next 5 to 10 years for this to sort of be settled. It's going to continue to be fought back and forth, I think, for a very long time.
Isn't there a limit to how many times you could appeal something?
I think technically there's a limit, but
Right.
the reason that lawyers make so much money is the lawyers are constantly working to find ways that they can appeal, based on certain arguments, based on, marketability of the product, based on this, based on that. Lawyers make their money, especially patent lawyers and trademark lawyers. They make their money on finding ways to challenge these rulings. And obviously this is, again, the second challenge to the original ruling from 2022, which was a challenge from the ruling that ruled in their favor in 2005. So, yeah, Kevin's got a good point. If the embargo was lifted today, and that's a 2-hour show. But if somehow
Right.
magically you could wave a
Right.
magic wand and Cuba Tobacco could market Cuban General in the United States, that would be a problem. But
Cuban
of course-
Cohiba.
Yeah,
Right.
but of course that's not happening anytime soon either. So,
Right. But so then the opposite would also be true. If the trademark was upheld and the embargo gets lifted, Cuba Tobacco wouldn't be able to sell Cohiba in the
100%.
United States.
100%. And, I think if you think big picture, that's really what's at stake here. There's an assumption that
Right.
eventually,
That's what they're fighting for.
right? That's what they're fighting for. Eventually, there is going to be a time, presumably, at some point where they can market their product in the United States. And this is going to be the fight. Now, obviously, there's a whole nother realm of issues of, Cuba Tobacco is going to be sued into oblivion from people who owned companies that were taken over by the government. And that's going to be a whole nother realm of hundreds and hundreds of lawsuits. So even if the embargo dropped, it is not my expectation that you'd just be able to market Cuban cigars on the American market, because all of those issues would need to be resolved as well before they could be sold. So, yeah, it's a lot.
Do you really think they'll ever lift the embargo? I mean,
Personally, do I think that? Yeah,
It
100%.
hasn't happened like during the Obama or Biden administration. I mean, what's gonna? The guy died. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
What's gonna lift the embargo? What is it? What? I'm not a poli sci major or history major, but what's it really gonna take to lift the embargo?
I think from my perspective, and again, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not an expert on foreign relations, but I am Canadian. So I have traveled to Cuba a pile of times, and I've obviously talked to Cubans and I've talked to Cuban brand owners. I think two things need to happen. Number one, the embargo needs to drop. And that's a very, very large thing that involves probably an entire generation of Cuban expats to pass away. So literally you're talking about an entire generation of Cuban expats would have to be passed away, and their kids are now sort of there, and there has to be enough of their kids to not fight against that,
Right.
for that to even be considered. And then number two, I think there needs to be a regime change within Cuba. And obviously, even with Fidel passing away, it's still the same thing. So you're talking about two monumental things. I don't know which one's more likely, the embargo being dropped or the Cuban government changing from the Cuban government. Neither of those things seem likely in the next 5 to 10 years. But on a long enough time scale, one or both of those things are going to happen.
I mean, I guess the wall came down.
Listen, right. Here's the other thing too. I mean, we didn't think about. Let's just say, for conversation's sake, that the embargo got lifted under this administration. What do you think the tariffs on Cuba is going to look like? I don't think we're getting any friendly tariff negotiations with Cuba.
Well,
so
even if
it happens,
even if
don't expect Cuban cigars to be cheap.
Yeah, even if the tariff was 0%, I mean, maybe you're going to sell a $40 Partagas Serie D number 4 on the shelf?
Right.
I don't think so.
Well, John, I will sell whatever the consumer chooses to buy.
That's right.
That's always been the motto.
I will happily
interesting.
take your money.
This is an interesting question. Is Red Dot Cohibas sold in Canada?
No. So in Canada, so I can speak to that because I'm a former retailer. So interestingly enough, in Canada, Canada recognizes the Cuban trademarks. So there's a number of brands that are, call them American legacy brands, that cannot be marketed or sold in Canada based on the fact the Cuban government owns those trademarks.
Punch, Holy Monterey, Partagas,
Monte Cristo,
Cohiba,
Trinidad. Yep.
Wow.
Boulevard.
Bolivar.
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't even think of that. So you guys just don't even see those cigars.
No, they're not available. The distributor can't import them.
They
So
can't,
again,
right,
we have to rely on the distributor because you can't directly import. So the distributor can't bring those in. And
So
they're
none of
not
the new
available for
Monte
sale.
Cristos or Romeos or any of that stuff ever makes.
Romeos, yes, Romeos are available. Romeos are on the market.
Why? How?
Or sorry, pardon me. Sorry. I had a brain fart there. No, you're correct.
Okay.
No, only Romeo Cubans. That's correct.
Right.
Yep.
Interesting. Is that the news for this week?
That's it. That is a very light week. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of shipping notifications that come out in the next few weeks. But again, post PCA, we typically don't see a lot of news. Everyone's very quiet, just trying to get the product out the shelves, and that is it.
They
for
try to
news
get
this
orders
week.
out. Trying to get their orders out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
All righty. Well,
For more information and up-to-date news, please check out our dear friend site, cigar-coop.com. And John, thank you for handling that episode. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
And thanks very much to Cooper for teeing that up for me.
This could be one of the most educational KMA episodes I've experienced in a while.
Got a lot going on there, right?
Legal, metric, history, chat, GPT. We got a lot of shit going on in here.
Gorilla fights.
Yeah, gorilla fights, right? Golf,
motorcycle.
hypotheticals.
Seriously.
Crazy ideas.
Guys jumping motorcycles.
Wacko. I love it.
So, John, in case any of our listeners are unfamiliar, why don't you let them know about your media podcast when it airs and what you do?
You betcha. So I do cigar reviews at developingpalates.com or developing palates everywhere you want. We work on the 10-point scale, which I know can be very confusing for people, but it's really not that confusing. It's just 0 to 10. It's 0 completely dissatisfied, 10 completely dissatisfied, and that's how we do it. And we are considered to be some of the toughest scorers, I think, in the industry. People constantly say, "Do you guys even like cigars?"
Huh?
Sometimes.
And who's we?
So the Developing Palates crew consists of Aaron Loomis, June Liu, who are Aaron and June are the site partners, and then Seth Geis and myself, John McTavish. We are the four horsemen of the cigar apocalypse at developingpalates.com.
Cool.
Well, while we plugged one, we might as well plug the other one. What do you got, Johnny Smokes? What do you got going on? Tell us.
All right, let's try to do this. It's been kind of choppy, so if I sound kind of choppy, I apologize.
What's going on in the Johnny Smokes?
JSU, we do our Thursday podcast, and this Thursday it's going to be our 5th anniversary. 5 years old.
Nice.
JSU is
Congratulations.
5.
Congratulations,
Congrats.
Johnny.
So, yeah, 5 years of doing this craziness. And then the following week, we have Joshua Habersky is going to be on, followed by Rafael Nadal. So,
nice.
of course, this
Got
is
some
the
heavy
month
hitters.
of Altadis. And, yep. So we got some great stuff coming up. And we got the help of my lovely wife, Lena, the Tarsies, absolutely awesome, and our wonderful people I call family members in our group. And also, I want to thank guys like you for having me in here. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Be sure to check out Johnny Smokes Uncut Facebook group.
There you go. Now, do we know when
Johnny
Coop's
Smokes.
coming back?
Yep.
He said
Yeah,
he's
Coop-
back next week.
He'll be back next week. Yeah.
I'll be back next week. Well, it looks like he's really having fun from the pictures he's been sending us. Some amazing
Yes.
photos. So
Finally, I don't know who he's with, but I want to thank them.
because
so
he's
much.
dressed.
No, well, not only is he, we finally got it. Getting a good picture of Coop is very difficult.
It's true.
Very difficult.
He's not taking a lot of selfies.
No, and all of his, his professional photo he has is dated at this point. It's very old. So I actually got a good pic from one of the pics he sent of a nice clear
Nice.
Cooper. We're gonna switch
Nice.
up the thumbnail. Yeah,
Nice.
there's not a lot of good pictures of Cooper in the wild. Most of them are in action or not one you can crop
You
for an icon.
You should send that over to Rivers. Have him update the back end.
I already gave it to Carlos
KMA.
when I saw immediately.
No,
I
I
already
mean,
gave
the
it to
website. The website. Let
on the
them tell me.
website too. Yeah,
Yeah, they're getting on the website, the About Us website.
We're all probably due. Honestly, you should take.
I got to do mine too. Carlos.
Yeah,
has
you
been
guys, you two definitely need to update your
Oh,
your photos.
that
Oh my
commercial we have to do. We have to do.
I was just saying when you were in the bath, I'm like, we're gonna be fucking on Metamucil by the time we get around to making a new commercial for that.
There's too much weight loss involved to not have a new commercial.
waiting too long. All right, let's see. It's coming out. I think I don't even know. I can't keep track. But it's time. Number five. We passed the halfway point. Closing up now, starting the second half. This is number 5 pick of season 11. Tale of the Tape. Best TV dads. It was a very sitcomish feel intro. I like it.
Absolutely. All right, so Cooper graced us.
Wait, before we get into picks, let's put up the leaderboard that you have. It'll show the new ones. You can't.
No, it won't because he did. I don't have a leaderboard because he did one leaderboard with everybody on it. Yeah, he's a work in progress.
2 weeks now. We can't get something. We're going to finish the season before we get a leaderboard up.
I know, it's there, but he did them all. Is the problem? He needs to chop them. You know what he needs to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, with that being said, I got Coop on video. Coop graced us, and let's see. Where is Coop again?
Dubai.
Here we go. Let's see who Coop picked.
Greetings, everybody. This is Coop. I'm in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, and I'm here today for our Tale of the Tape, pick number 5, the top 5 TV dads of all time. Just to give John McTavish a heads up on the weather, I'm recording this on Friday morning here in Dubai, and it is 29 degrees Celsius in the morning, which is about 84, 85 degrees in Fahrenheit time, but I'll help John validate that. But as for my pick, my number 5 pick is Ward Cleaver from Leave It to Beaver. Now, Ward was the classic 50s father, and I love that. And he was the father that imparted that wisdom and advice on his family, and he happened to get the wisdom and advice from his wife. Kind of a straight-laced character, which is probably why I like him. But also, he had a side where he could get into a little bit of his own hijinks with his buddy Fred Rutherford. But Leave It to Beavers, Ward Cleaver, number 5. I'll see everybody next week. Keep it lit.
Such a quintessential Cooper pick.
I said that. I'm like, man,
Classic.
this is a classic Cooper pick. Perfect.
Classic.
Ward Cleaver.
I mean, literally about as quintessential Cooper as it gets.
And for those who aren't aware, the sort of comment about weather is we've got an industry group chat, a little secret group chat, and one of the things I comment on all the time is weather. So if there's hurricanes going on or whatever, I give my hurricane prediction. If we're traveling somewhere as a group, I always sort of break down the weather, and I've been doing this for years. So Cooper always says, what's the weather, John? What are we looking at? Is it raining? Is it lightning? What's going on? And so I give him the breakdown. So
you're the resident meteorologist.
That's right.
I like it. All right, I'll jump in here. I'm counting down the best of the worst TV dads. This week, number 5 pick, I went with Ray Donovan. So, Ray Donovan, look, while not technically a bad guy, I mean, the guy's a fixer. We don't know what he does. But Ray is a classic case of a father trying to shield his children from the insanity around them. Which he quite often fails at. And unfortunately, the insanity is driven by his chosen profession. But, for me, again, Ray Donovan, just another example of a dad trying to keep the chaos of the outside world away from his family. So, Ray Donovan, number 5.
So my pick was, we talked about the parameters. My parameters was dads that I really enjoyed watching. They didn't have to be like great dads. They were just more entertaining to watch. And coming in at a solid 5 is James Evans Sr. as John Amos. This guy is great. It was awesome, man. In fact, the only good thing about Suits LA was this guy got to play himself in the series, and as an actor still. It was one of my favorite roles, the dynamic between him and his family and his wife and being hardcore and where they were raised. just made him a real entertainment to watch, and not just comedically, but even emotionally in very serious moments. Of the show.
Serious, absolutely.
Yeah, very serious moments of the show. So yeah, he comes in at my pick at number 5. So, gentlemen, any noteworthy TV dads of your recollection that you'd like to mention at this point?
Yeah, I can hop in there. I've got an
I'm pretty sure it's going to
pick.
be Alan Thicke for you, John.
No, I'm saving Alan Thicke for next week. Alan Thicke is going to be my week 4 pick. No, I've got an unconventional pick for the sci-fi nerds out there. I'm going with Admiral Bill Adama from Battlestar Galactica.
Wow.
That's right up Abe's alley.
That's right.
Wow.
So, here's a guy who their entire sort of society has been wiped out. He's in the military. Now he's got to work with his son, who is basically under him in the military command structure. So, you can only imagine how difficult it is being a father and a son in a normal scenario, but serving in the military together on a ship under attack all the time. And then on top of that, he's got this sort of adopted daughter per se, which is Starbuck, and sort of has always been sort of his kind of adopted daughter. He treats her like his daughter, and the sort of dynamic of that whole trilogy, the trio of relationships throughout the show is quite fascinating. The way he has to handle that is also quite fascinating. It's a relationship I really enjoyed watching the series.
Did you watch the series growing up, the old?
Of course.
Okay,
of course.
I didn't really get into it, in the 70s and 80s when the original series came out right after the movie. But did you? I'm going to assume you watched the newer version that was re-released. Yeah,
several. I mean, it's probably 8 to 12 months. Every 8 to 12 months, I go through and watch the whole new series again because it's just a phenomenal.
It was brilliant. And let me just tell you something. There was a period there where I was literally in love with Tricia Helfer. I think that woman was the hottest, most beautiful woman I ever. Especially her role as in that series, man. Tricia Helfer. She didn't.
You know where she's from, Abe?
What?
You know where she's from?
No.
She's from Canada.
Is she really?
Yeah, she's from Edmonton. I think she's from Edmonton, Edmonton, Alberta.
Won't hold it against her. I mean, she played roles in Lucifer and whatever. But man, I'm just telling you, man, I don't think she made my top 10 during Heartthrobs, but she was a heartthrob for me. I fell in love with her during that series, man. She was
if you met her in person, I mean, like one of those things where you really don't understand how pretty she is until you see her in person. Then you go,
oh, tell me it's even more stunning.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you could. I mean, you just couldn't. You wouldn't be able to put two words together if you met her in person. She's just stunning.
Are you looking for a picture of Tricia Helfer, Alex?
No, I was looking I need something new. Where can I watch Battlestar Galactica? Yeah, I wasn't even.
I don't even know.
It's a great series.
Amazon.
Maybe
Prime.
Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Amazon has it.
Amazon, good old Amazon.
Good old Amazon.
Yeah, the series highly recommended. I mean, even if you just watch the miniseries movies, just that's worth it. But the series is phenomenal, truly amazing.
Is that the one?
Say again?
Does that sound right? Sorry, I was leaning back. The 2004 series?
Yeah, that's right.
That sound about right? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's going to be my next go-to. I need something new.
Yeah,
it was great.
I won't spoil it.
Reamer, what about you? You got a dad? You're so quiet today. Reamer don't know when to jump in yet.
Well,
he's got bad sound.
Well, that's what it is.
He's got bad sound. Yeah, I see you got bad sound.
How about Red Foreman, the 70s show? I like him. Reminds me of my own dad. Sarcastic, very sarcastic, tough love, gruff. You know what I mean? Ready to tell you you're a jackass when you're a jackass. You know what I mean? So that reminds me of my own father. God rest.
I like Red.
Everybody needs a foot up their ass from time to time.
The quintessential miserable, as we would call him.
Red was solid.
That's a great pick.
Well, that closes up our week number 6, pick number 5 of season 11 of Tale of the Tape. Now, to close out our episode this week of KMA Talk Radio, it's time to do it in their normal fashion. It's time to find out, would you rather?
righty, our man is back this week. Let's see
Thank
what
God. That
Nebro's
question last
got
week was
for-
brutal.
I don't remember what it was, but I do.
You weren't
remember
here.
that. I had to do it. I remember
Oh, yeah.
saying like, that was
A steam iron or an iron?
or a steamer. Yeah.
Okay, everybody, here we're gonna go.
Here we go.
There you go.
Hello, everybody. This is Pedro Gomez from Drew Estate, and this one is for Kiss My Ash. Would you rather smoke a cigar with Michael Jordan or Morgan Freeman?
Ooh,
Is Morgan Freeman?
this is gonna be controversial. This is gonna be an interesting one.
Morgan Freeman's kind of random to me, although I like Morgan.
So
I gotta go.
It's so I'm a Chicago guy. I mean, and I've met Michael Jordan multiple times.
Interesting.
And actually, I met him one time after I moved out of Chicago. Met him here at Rachel's too one night. And as much as I worship him, think he's the undisputed, undoubted GOAT ever, it's a tough call because I think Morgan Freeman would be one fucking interesting conversation. You know, I mean, and you've seen so much out there of Michael Jordan. So I've heard the gambling stories, the sports story, you know, where I don't know. That's a little bit of a tougher call for me. I mean, Alex, you're ready to spurt out Jordan hands down.
Yeah, I'm a big Jordan guy, and listen, in a small flex, kind of cool moment in my life, I actually set up Michael Jordan's personal humidor for his golf course. You know, his personal. So, I mean, Morgan Freeman's cool. That would be an awesome conversation too. But I'm a Jordan guy. I'd rather talk to Jordan. What about you guys?
Kramer?
I'll take Jordan big time. I love both guys. Don't get me wrong, but definitely Michael Jordan. I've never had the chance to meet him. I've never met either of them, but definitely Michael.
Well, I'm not a basketball guy, surprisingly, but I have heard, and this might not be fair because it's just rumor and innuendo, but I have heard that Jordan can be a little cold if you don't have a personal relationship with him. And, you know, I'm kind of smoking cigars with a guy who I want to be personable and open and have that conversation. To me, Morgan Freeman just epitomizes, you know, just friendly, nice, you know, talk about this. I mean, the stories that Morgan can tell, it would be 95% Morgan talking and me just being fascinated and enamored. So I'm gonna have to go Morgan Freeman.
I've been watching Morgan Freeman since I was 5 years old from the electric company. I mean, this guy goes way back in my roots. I mean,
What did you 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Right?
Yeah.
I just really think it'd be a more dynamic and broader and you know, diverse conversation than I think a Jordan interview is. And like I said, maybe the fact that I have run into him a couple of times and chit-chat with him, maybe that has something to do with it, because off the bat, I would just say Jordan, but I don't know. That was actually a good pick. I mean, a good choice. So
I think if he had gone Denzel Washington and Michael Jordan, I think that would have been maybe a bit of a tighter pick, because Denzel, I mean, I would love to sit down and have a cigar with Denzel, but
Oh yeah.
that was a good pick. Brought to you by the fine folks at Drew Estate Cigars. And that closes out our episode of KMA this week. John, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. And we'll catch you all next week. Until then, everybody, keep it lit.